welcome back. We are here again with more red, white, and royal blue. I think this is the first time I've said it without completely messing it up because those words do not roll off my tongue well. We're here with chapters 5 and 6. I'm trying to pump these out a bit more. The reading is going easily, but I just usually I just take long on my notes and then I'm copying things down and then I'm like, have I got enough in? And then I end up talking for way too long. It's a whole process. I just do everything in probably the hardest way possible for myself. And I don't know why. But, we'll be getting in this, right now. I think I'm going to switch up the way I am structuring these. I've been loving the way I'm doing it. I'm not changing it that much, but I feel like when I'm reading the notes, I forget things that are actually in here and I miss some things and it's a bit kind of like I'm given I don't know. I want it to be a bit more fun personal read through. So I'm deciding, and I'm using my receipt as the bookmark. I think I'm just gonna not read along, but just keep this in my hand and just go from circled to can you even see my different they're very light, but from circle to circle to go through which bits I liked, and then I can kind of see, because typing out a whole quote is just really tedious, so then I can just read it and I feel we're at our book club. We can all have our books out. Don't, because you're going to get sick of holding it, and we know I'm going to talk for too long. I don't want you to have to go through that. But then I could just quickly go through it, see the bits that I liked, that I didn't. I just feel like maybe it'll be a bit more fun. And then you get to hear, I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know how much it picks up. I can see on my audio software that something's picked up, but I don't know how well. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into chapter 5. Okay, I'm gonna try and keep, do I keep the book here or up, down, up, down? So chapter 5 starts off. We have the fallout of the kiss. The fallout, the pining, the oh my god, I can't stop. I love how much, the inner thoughts do really help. I loved what we saw in the movie, don't get me wrong, but seeing all this, sexual confusion and oh, he won't talk to me, what's going on, why did I like it, I very much enjoyed. Also, it did feel very different from the movie, because I feel like he had already, in the movie, they just kind of glossed over it and was he's already come to terms with being bisexual. In this, he was not ready for anything. He was confused, which is great, but it's, he cannot stop thinking about the kiss. He's feeling positively molten. Also, molten, such a good word to describe, I don't know, hot and gooey inside. Oh, I shouldn't have. I'm sorry for uttering those two words together. He talks about, the NDA. He was did he have feelings for me? Is this why we signed it? Am I not allowed to talk about it? Then it goes into he's pretty sure he's straight. Which I think is hilarious, and he talks about, experimenting with his friend Liam, another side character that we popped up, which was it was very interesting. The way they did it, I was whoa, was not expecting, was it high school, I think, high school experimenting. It was just because he's so, it's so different from the way the movie did it. I was wow, this is, we're really getting some, him experimenting, figuring, look backs on that, figuring out where he is, and I was whoa, okay, interesting, love it. And then he's just he's thinking about boys' hands and stuff, which is just, and then he keeps doing the back and forth of what is straight, what is bisexual, if I'm straight, would I be thinking these things? And I'm I don't know, man. I think if you're constantly thinking about the boy you just kissed and your heart's aflutter, skipping beats, you're getting hot and heavy, I think there's something there. I'm sorry, but there definitely is. And then he talks about how Nora's not. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Nora. Nora not being straight and like feel like she would know what to do. She's gonna be the person to guide him through. He did feel very lost. Like there was a lot of him not knowing, going back and forth, confusion, and we get into it, but he was kind of like, I need someone to tell me what I am. And she's like, no, you've got to figure this out for yourself, buddy. But I like how, he is a very confident person, runs on schedules, knows what he wants the whole time, and then this happens, and he's just fucked. He is so, like, all over the place. He doesn't know his feelings. He doesn't know his thoughts. He can't stop like thinking about him. Henry, that is. And as we see, that is a running theme. Things happen with them and he can't get his mind off it at all. Yeah, he says here, he thinks about Henry. Something twists in his chest. Brother. I don't know. But that's not what I think straight is, because I think your heart just skipped a beat. You're fluttering at the thought of Henry, which is so cute. And then it's just like the constant going back. Henry's hands, other places, Henry's mouth, what he might do, his broad shoulders, long neck, long legs, narrow waist, like the place where the jaw. He's like thinking about it in such vivid detail, like, which is like a little bit surprising in a way, because the way they talked about how drunk he was, I think is so. I'm like, I feel like he wouldn't remember it, but maybe it was one of those sobering experiences. He was like, Henry kissed him. He's like, I'm sober now. I'm awake. I've got to take in all details of this, which I think is so cute. But as he does, I said he's a very list person, schedule person. He writes the list. 1, he's attracted to Henry. 2, he wants to kiss Henry again. 3, he has maybe wanted to kiss Henry for a while. As in, probably the whole time. Thank you for your realization, sir. Yes, you have been wanting to kiss Henry this whole time. You've had this weird obsession crush on him for years upon years. Thank you for figuring that out. Which is funny. And then he like goes into his mum's office and he's like, I want to start working now, which is like the classic, like, he wants to take his mind off it, which he does. He tries to like work through it, put in his stuff, like do, I don't know, college work, his degree or whatever. He wants to do the work for his mum. He's like, I need to do everything, so I can't think of it, which is fair because also Henry wasn't replying. So he's just left in his own thoughts and his full-on gay crisis. He was doing stuff at the Senate office. He's not thinking about Henry in the shower or at night, alone, wide awake in his bed. It's cute, And then we go on, he's talking about friends with Nora, like, and then he's like, she makes friends, I make acquaintances. But, like, for Henry, who knows him and still kissed him, so, like, this is just going to be me gushing. These 2 chapters were not good for the mental. Wow, I was just going, the whole time, everything was just adorable and it was killing me. It was like driving chapter 5. Chapter 6 was just steamy. Like, we'll get on to that, but that whole chapter, like, gonna need to get a fan in here. Should I do a bit? Should I bring a fan and let it blow at me? So then he's like talking to Nora and he like jumps into the conversation and he's like, hey, you know how you're always joking about dating June? Well, what if I dated a guy? And we're like, oh yes, he's slowly branching out, talking about like being bisexual, figuring himself out, which is cute. And it's great that Nora is a person that like will be there for him and like help him like as much as she possibly can. And then he just goes, numbers on me being into dudes. I love their little, I think that's a really fun inside joke that they have, the whole like statistics thing. Well, she is like a numbers person. And then the way that she's not surprised at all, she just goes, here's gay and you're hot, so it figures they were going to kiss eventually. I love how little she like is surprised by it. I think it is cute and hilarious, and just the way she is like so much smarter and ahead of everything. She's like, I do like data and stuff. I actually have no idea what she does in the slightest, but she's like, I do numbers for a living. It is easy to figure out, you two. They jump back into it, and she's like, he's gay. Like, he's so gay. And Alex is just this perfect blend of just completely has no idea what's going on. He's like, no, like, how can he kiss me if he didn't even tell me first? He goes on dates with women. I'm like, babes, no, that's not how it works. Also, she's like, you know, he can't be gay in the royal family, which again, always breaks my heart. Always and forever breaks my heart. And then Nora just like completely does that like best friend thing. Like, she keeps talking about it, and then she's like, was he a good kisser? Was their tongue? She's like wanting all the details. Which, I mean, if you were best friends with the first son of the first son, that's his title, and he kissed the Prince of England, you'd want all of it. I'd be like, literally, let's hire someone that can draw it out for me. We'll animate it. Like, I need to know every in-depth detail. I'd be so nosy. I'd be like, this is the biggest gossip I've ever heard in my life, and I need it all now. I think it's so hilarious. Then we finally get the sort of like realization he actually says, do you think I'm bi? And she's like, dude, again, like, I can't tell you. I can't figure this out. I like that he's like, he keeps going back and forth with this. It actually really well like shows that like both like sexuality awakening, struggle, like confusion, which was done well. And then he's like, but how can I even figure this out if the guy that I want to keep kissing won't even message me? And I like that she's like, he likes you and he's probably freaking out too. I feel like Alex has done this whole like freak out. He's losing his mind. He hasn't even thought about him in the slight. He's been thinking only about him, but not about him. You know what I mean? He's been thinking about himself and Henry in terms of him, but not what Henry's going through, which is funny in a way, but also I'm like, you gotta figure this out, okay? You gotta think that he's probably thinking you're going to like out him or freak out or never talk to him again, especially when you're sworn to be best buddies till the end of time. Well, I mean, you're gonna be more than best buddies, but I think it's just, I'm like, you gotta think how the prince feels. I like how he just didn't do it at all. And then we get into the the talk about Prince Henry in secret kisses the the first son, and then immediately goes on a date with a woman. He's like, internally, he's probably like, I've got to get this out of my head. I've got to start some other rumors that I'm dating women because I don't want anyone to figure this out. And Alex is pissed. He's like, who is this mystery blonde bitch, and why is she with my man? I love how like jealous he is getting. Like, he's like, who the fuck does Henry think he is? I love this. I think it's so funny. And then again, Nora coming in to save the day. Nora is our save the day person so far. She's like, why do you think they're always photographed? Like, why is it so easy for everyone to figure out if he was actually a private person? How would they always catch the scoop? And then Alex goes, if there was a prince and he was gay and he kissed someone and maybe it mattered, the prince might run a bit of interference. Like, he's finally like, oh, maybe there is something to, like, maybe he is going to freak out about this. Maybe he is having an internal struggle as well, and it's not just a me thing. I like how he is a bit narcissistic, which I think is something, like, we very much enjoy about Alex's character. He is very confident and fun, and when he has these moments of, like, hesitation, confusion, he just seems so, like, sweet and innocent because he's usually, like, so upfront, which is, like, when we get into chapter 6 a bit and we get into the more, like, central times, you know, he gets put on the back foot a bit. Like, he's always so, like, gung-ho, he's talking, he's funny, and then when you see him, he's, you know, get into these certain moments with Henry, he kind of has to take the back seat and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I think that makes it even cuter, putting someone who's very confident in a, like, moments of vulnerability, which is what they do a lot with Alex. I think it's one of the best things, especially when you get to see his internal monologue all the time and the way he's always freaking out constantly. So that kind of wraps up chapter 5. All else that happened was he called Liam, which was the most awkward conversation. I don't want, like, it gave me the ooh. So I'm not going to go into it too much because it stressed me out. But he had his little conversation with Liam. Liam was like, we definitely did gay shit as kids. We did gay stuff all the time. We said it wasn't gay. It was really gay. And I was like, yeah, y'all were giving each other hand jobs. It was a little bit gay. And Liam's like, I'm gay. I don't know what's going on with you, but like, that's me. It was all gay. And then that leads us into one of the best chapters so far, chapter 6. So with chapter 6, wow, we get some stuff going through here. And it kind of is, obviously it's different from the movie. I keep saying that like I have to remind myself. But we get to the president's dinner or whatever it was, and the new prime minister from England or something came over to meet the president. Blah, 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 political, blah, 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 you know, fancy people ballroom stuff. And Henry enters right away. Like, I loved in the movie, sorry, I'm all over the place. I don't know if the reporter friend was just a movie thing. So I don't know if that's going to come into play later, like who's going to leak their emails. Maybe he'll jump back later in the movie. But having that whole history with him in the movie, like they had fooled around a bit, made sense and it was good. But I loved the scene of him talking to Alex in the ballroom in the movie, or the dinner. And Alex being like, yeah, we're going to take over Texas. And he's just staring at the door because he's wanting Henry to arrive. But in this, Henry arrives so quickly. I was like waiting for them to just like, you know, not talk about it, that like him be like pacing, freaking out. Wait, Henry just arrives. I was like, holy shit, they're getting into everything so quickly. So the fast pacedness of this book is fantastic. Keeps me hooked. But Henry enters, his suit is black, smooth, elegant, perfect. Alex wants to rip it off. Oh my, Alex, you dirty, like, stop it. This chapter is just smut. Is that the word? / porn. This chapter is steamy. I will say that. And then he keeps saying he's into Henry's British accent and how dare he come into Alex's house looking like a Bond guy. Like he's back on the hate love train. Like it's still hate, but he's like, I love it so much. And then we get the fun Red Room scene, like coming out, he's like, you know, give me 5 minutes. And she's like, are you going to kill him? And we're like, no, kill him with kindness or kisses, but not literally, because I think he would be devastated if he killed his own boyfriend. But wow, everything about like from here on out for the rest of the chapter, it gets hot and heavy really quickly and constantly. And I get it. Like, it was fun to read. I feel like some pages I did not circle anything because I was just like, I was consuming the words so quickly. I was like, I gotta keep reading. Oh my god, this is so good. It's so like, you know, I understand why people enjoy the like hot and steamy chapters because it was very fun. It was a lot and it was fun. But we finally get into the Red Room. You know, Henry's a bit confused and he just goes for it and he gives him the kiss. I liked in the movie where they kissed, he stopped, he kind of realized that he wants it and then they went back to kissing. But this, no realization scene. All kissing, all sexual desire, all pushing people up against walls and getting ready to fuck. They were like, if this room wasn't going to be filled with people in like 10 minutes, we would fuck in this Red Room. And I think that is hilarious. It's like when they're kissing and Alex could fucking scream if he wasn't worried about the other people around. The way he just goes from like such confident, cocky boy to like absolute screaming fanboy in love, just like cuteness. He goes from one to the other so quickly, and I find it so adorable. But yeah, he talks about, you know, his years of sworn hate against him, and he just like doesn't know. And then Amy ruins the moment and is like, time's up. And I'm like, excuse me, excuse me, Miss Amy. I think it was hilarious in the movie how you caught them. I liked that scene very much. But don't tell us time's up. Things were just about to get good, and I wanted to keep reading. But luckily, I don't have to take too long because we get plenty of good scenes coming up. But then when they're trying to leave, Henry just goes, Christ, I'm trying to make it go away. And I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious. The way he just like, he's still like kind of posh and he won't just like say it as it is, even though they've just kissed and like, I'm gonna be crude. They dry humped a little. Yeah, so I was like, Henry, I think after you all dry humped and, you know, made out for a while, I think you can, you know, talk about your erection. I think it's fine. We're all adults here reading about your intimate love life. But I'm like, we can figure it out. And then Alex does the whole, come to my bedroom. And we're all like, I know what's gonna happen and I'm kind of excited about it. Okay, and I love his little inner monologue before Henry gets to his room when he's just absolutely freaking out. I like did a big circle on this one. Granted, I do a lot of big circles, but I love this whole thing. It was, he's not sure if he should take anything else off. He's unsure of the dress code for inviting your sworn enemy turned fake best friend to your room to have sex with you, especially when that room is in the White House, and especially when that person is a guy, and especially when the guy is the Prince of England. I just thought that was so like, everything about it along the lines was like getting worse and worse for him. Like, it shouldn't be happening. It's like not a thing that should happen. But I feel like every bit of that made it more exciting for him. But just like the tension he had before like he showed up. And then he shows up, Henry looking amazing. Like, they both look, like, so amazing, and they do in the movie, so that's how I imagine them in my head now, obviously. But the way Alex, like, is like, I've never just, like, looked at him and appreciated him. He talks about how he's tall and gorgeous, half royalty, half movie star, like, red wine lingering on his lips, like, the way everything's described is fantastic. Casey, you do a fantastic job because it is very, like, some bits are just straight to the point and, like, sensual and vulgar. Vulgar? Maybe that's not the right word. But other bits are just, like, beautifully described. I'm like, wow, I enjoy reading about how good they look. Then we start the real smut. They're getting ready to fuck. But, you know, he talks about how he's hungry for him. The descriptors, some of them are like, they're a bit corny, but I also love it. I enjoy so much. And then Henry quickly tells him that he's gay. I'm like, well, it's good that you brought it out eventually. Like, I'm happy that you said it. And then they quickly, like, flash back to the party. And Alex is like, when he kissed Nora and why he kissed him. And he's like, well, you kissed Nora. And he's like, so you were jealous and you want me. And I was like, don't take that tone, Alex, because we know when he was spotted with a woman after you guys kissed, you were jealous and you want him. So we can just see that you're both the exact same person. You're both a bit jealous and it's really cute. And just have sex already. Because we're getting to the end of the chapter and it's going to happen and I know it. Let's get into it. So we get into the sexual part of the chapter, which is a lot of it. Now, I haven't circled too many things because I was just really enjoying the intricate details of this beautifully well written story. It was really fun to read. I'm not gonna lie. it was good stuff. I was eating it up. But I didn't also circle too much because I was like, well, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of sexual things and I can't talk about all of it. Also, I'm not just constantly... I was like, I could reread this whole thing. Maybe after I finish this book, I'll do an audiobook for it. How about that? We'll get an 8-hour video of me talking. No, because that would be horrible. Imagine me talking for... I already usually talk for like 40 minutes, and that's enough. 8 hours of me? Oh my god. I couldn't stand it. I don't think anyone else could. Okay, we'll go back into it. He kisses him until he can't breathe, until he feels like they're going to forget their names and their titles, and they're the only two people. So such a good descriptor. Alex might die if he can't fit his hand into that little curve in the next 5 seconds. He can't believe he ever thought he was straight. I was like, yeah, when you're beginning to like go down or get gone down on, yeah, not the straightest thing that's ever happened, especially when you want the prince to be naked in your bed, which was so cute. I don't know where that is or where it's coming up, but when he was just like, I want you in the bed, and then 5 minutes later he's like, no, I want you to take all your clothes off. Oh, it was so wow. My heart was beating fast. I was reading quickly. My eyes were moving quickly. My heart was beating quickly. Oh yes, it's literally just here where I'm reading. When Henry is giving him a little bit of time downstairs, he's giving him a blowjob. He's like, oh no, he was just. I gotta not have my arms. I don't need that to be bumped anywhere. Sorry. He was giving him a hand job. If I put it in an accent, it's not as crude. You know what? I may look like I'm embarrassed, but it is a part of this is slightly weird talking about hand jobs to a camera. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm trying my best because there is a lot going on in this chapter. But after he's giving him a hand job, he's like, no, stop. Like, we need to just... Alex is like, everything was so built up in him, he was ready to explode. And he was like, no, I need to see you naked first. Oh, are you kidding me? Don't put it like that. I was like, I feel like I gasped. Internally, I went, oh my God, how forward of you. I love it. It's both very sexual, but also so like cute and innocent at the same time. There's something about it that is just like, and I've said this in the movie, it was done like that too in different scenes, but it's both high, like raw sexual energy, but also this like beautiful, meek, like lust and desire, and like, it's all done so well, and it shows so many sides of like how like sex works and like your passion and all that. I just think it was written and directed both differently, the same, and very well in both instances. And then we get Mr. Alex going down to Dick Town. Jesus. For the first time. He gave Henry a blowjob. They make a bit of... Also, the way they keep the banter up while they're, in the thralls of the bed and passionate lovemaking. How can you keep such good banter up? It's hilarious, and it was very fun to read. And I like the way she keeps that sort of like, that's their relationship. They still hate each other. They don't, but like they still do. And they still play on that the whole time. And then Mr. Henry, Mr. Prince of Blowjobs, I think it says that later in the chapter, Prince of Blowjobs comes down and does the deed and does it well. Alex is excited. And I will read this part as we're wrapping up for this first encounter because I thought it was hilarious in a way. Alex wants to drag Henry up by the hair, but his body is boneless and wrecked. He's blissed out, dead, ascended to the next plane, merely a pair of eyes floating through a dopamine haze. Must have been good, huh? Huh, Alex? That must have been good, because he is the shell of a human. He is currently not computing. The only thing I do have a question about this sex scene, the first one, because obviously we read that Alex unloaded and was therefore incapacitated and completely fucking tired and couldn't do anything after he finished. I don't know if Henry finished, and I was like, come on, man, like you gotta, it goes both ways. We're gonna keep everyone satisfied. So that's the only question I have after this sex scene. I was like, did we both get to enjoy this or not? And then Henry gives the best. If I had known this is all it took to shut you up, I would have done this ages ago. So good. Like, just the way they keep the banter in their beautiful, like, love is fantastic. Like, it's just so fun. And then they go on to talk about Ben, this doesn't change anything. We're just friends with blowjobs, right? And then Alex is like, by the way, I'm bisexual. And I was like, well, friends with blowjobs sounds like a little bit more than friends, personally. But at least friends with benefits. And then one of the cutest, weirdly favorite moments in the chapter, because it was a bit much, but it was also the cutest thing ever. Henry's about to leave, like, they can't be seen coming out of the same room, and he's standing there. Alex rolls his eyes. For fuck's sake, man, you just had my dick in your mouth. You can kiss me goodnight. Oh, it's so cute. Like, I know it's a lot, but it's also the most adorable thing ever. And then, obviously, Alex is thinking about it constantly. They're apart, they live in different countries. It takes, them so long to get anywhere. And he's thinking about him constantly. Like, it must have been good, because the way he was complaining and couldn't stop thinking about not having his body was crazy. I was even like, shut up, you're making me jealous. Like, calm down, we get it. It was good, you need to stop. And then we get into the whole polo match situation, which was done really well in both of them. And in the book, it felt just like, I'll summarize it really quickly. Alex showed up, he was like, this game sucks, but my man's looks hot in his polo uniform, and it's doing it for him. Which I think he does say as well. And the way they were like so sneaky, they went into that shed, or whatever, the polo shed, to have a little bit of them time, which I did circle Alex said, what in the rich white people's sex dungeon hell? Because there was just like whips and shit everywhere, which I thought was hilarious. But I'm just like, they were pretty brave just going into that, like hoping no one saw them or followed them. It was good and I loved it. And then they had a little bit more time. He was like, no, keep the uniform on. I like a man in uniform. And I was like, whew, wow, I get it. I saw, is his name Nicholas? I saw him in the polo uniform. I got it too. So, I figured out what was going on. Then to cap off, I was about to say the episode, to finish off the chapter, we got some emails, which was, something just awoke in me. I just remembered the emails and just a demon jumped out. The way they were so confident, just really flirting in these emails. I don't know how they're going to leak in this. Like, obviously that's going to be a plot point, but I don't know who's going to do it or like how it's going to come about. But they really didn't leave anything to be like, a mystery. They really went for it in these emails, and I kind of liked the balls that they had to just really it's not sexting because you're not texting. C-mailing? That sounds fucking disgusting, whatever. I'd like to formally apologize for saying that word. But they were sexting over email. When he's like, namely when you're doing that thing with your tongue, first son of questionable late night emails, I'm like, oh god. And then, his royal horniness, first son of cheese shopping and blowjobs. And I was like, come on guys. I feel like it was the cutest thing ever, and I get it. But I was like, if you're the Prince of England and the first son of the United States, I was like, maybe you shouldn't put this in writing. Maybe you guys should just hold off a bit, or like make up a code, talk in code, because as absolutely cute and sexual and sensual and erotic and absolutely hilarious these emails are, it's like you can't leave evidence. That's just me thinking, like, I'm just like, they should have thought about it. I'm like, I want this, but I want them to do it well so they don't get caught. But I guess it all works out in the end, if it's a similar ending to the movie. And then it ends with, hate you. Can I put it up closer? Hate you. Oh, it's just going to be backwards. Hate you. I just keep saying that word. Hate you. We'll try and get out of Germany. X. X. They're in love. Also, he's going to try and get out of Germany and go to Paris with him so they can have that cute time in the shop, and they talk about their last names, and then they're just absolutely fucking adorable. And this book, the movie ruined me, and it ruined me in 2 hours? This book is ruining me slowly over multiple hours, and I love it. I'm enjoying it so much. Like, I understand why people wanted me to read the book. Obviously, I was going to because it's fantastic. But just getting all the detail is so much fun. I love getting to talk about it more, like talking about my favorite parts, seeing like other people talk about what they're enjoying, or like, you know, I definitely read one comment that was like, "Can't wait till you get to chapter 6," and I was like, I wonder what chapter 6 is gonna be. Now I'm like, whew, yeah, I get it. Chapter 6 was a fun one. It was enjoyable. It definitely wasn't super. It wasn't all sex. It was, you know, just a lot of it. But these characters are just like, they're so fun, and it's very well written. Like, maybe it's not like the most complicated deep writing ever, but they make you like them so much, and they're so enjoyable to read about, and especially like seeing all Alex's different like inner workings and thoughts. It's just great. It does make me appreciate the characters in the movie a lot more, and it gives more depth to them, even though they are different in a lot of ways, because obviously things have been changed. And I'm having a great time. I wonder what's gonna happen next, because honestly, after chapter 6, I've forgotten the movie. I've forgotten everything. That chapter had so much in it, I've just forgotten. But I'm so excited. I'm trying to put these out a bit more frequently too. So please bear with me. I don't want to drag it on too much. I'm trying my best. I just have a lot of different things that I'm recording. But I've been enjoying it so much, and I really hope you have been too. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And I hope to see you in the next one.